remember the Electrolux Excellio Z5045 Super Silence, what I think is the most top of the range Electrolux Excellio that Electrolux ever made. Well, it's been apart, all the filth has been removed, all the rubber seals cleaned, so they now stick to the plastic and form airtight seals as they're supposed to do. It's time to have a look, see how it works now, and check if this hose behaves any better. Let's have a look. Yes, hello, my vacuum cleaner and 90s Electrolux chums. How are you today? Yep, the second of the pair of vacuum cleaners that I'm doing for Mr. James in payment for my beautiful Sebo Felix Classic. And yeah, this one came up okay. It's the second Excellio we've had, so I was able to reuse the screw card, know roughly what I was doing, and yeah, it's all come up really rather well. It hasn't been polished. Mr. James didn't really want that. He just wanted it cleaned up so we could use it without it stinking like it did. And yeah, I think we've done a pretty good job. Back here, the post motor filter has been washed and cleaned, and it's a little bit fluffy, but yeah, it still does the job. It's only to diffuse the exhaust there and I guess stop any big chunks flying out if you happen to split the bag. And again, you probably get new ones of those, but I think that's fine. It's only S-class filtration anyway, not a fancy filter in the back, which I'm sure we're around. I mean, obviously we had the previous Electrolux that did have the big sticker saying, you know, fancy, expensive filter. So yeah, maybe which is a bit odd considering that, you know, they went to all the effort of putting a remote control hose on it, but I guess they had to keep the cost down somewhere. Under here we have the tools, which all washed up rather nicely, and there are just three nice small tools up here in the tool drawer, which unlike the other one isn't really worn, so it clicks down nicely. It's only friction fit from that bit there, so yeah, it doesn't click down at all. And then if we pull this catch up at the front, we can see inside where yep, we have ourselves a nice brand new, I've not actually done much more than turn it on yet, so all that dirt is probably from inside the hose, although the hose has been washed, so I'm not quite sure. But yeah, nice brand new bag in here. Again, this is the original filter that it came with, and I think I put that through the washing machine because it works well. But inside, yeah, one of those net bags. People often ask me about how I wash stuff, and yeah, it will go through the washing machine, but you've got to be careful that it doesn't go into the washing machine, which a wet one of these probably would. So yeah, inside one of those little, you know, net bags that old ladies from Mr. Hooverlux put their tights in, that's what you want to do. And yeah, all nice and clean. It's a humongous filter for such a tiny little area of suction inlet. It's only in that little bit there. Stop falling down where the air comes out. But you know, big nice filter with a rubber seal actually on the back, so yeah, no dirt should get past there at all. And with these fantastic bags, which wouldn't have been available when this was new, this would have been, you know, double layer if it was lucky paper bags. It all should now work rather well. Ah yes, I have the cord reel in, well, Electrolux 4x4 mode, which is in and out. If we flick that there, it will now lock itself out. And we can plug it in, turn it on, and note that nothing happens except the max light flashes. Because yeah, this machine is utterly useless without its little hose, which, there you go, there it is. All that will do now is flash, because the machine is in standby mode. So that's probably a good time to talk about the hose, because the hose had a major flaw. On the circuit board in here, the wires running from the battery down to the PCB were secured originally with, it wasn't hot glue, but it was, I presume, hot sealant. I don't know, it was a blob of sealant stuck on there, and that had rotted away the traces. I had a heck of a time rebuilding the little PCB up. Yeah, there's some new batteries in it, And yeah, it's not pretty in there. I'm not going to show you too many photos of it because of my embarrassing soldering, although again, all the traces were burnt on the neutral side of the circuit. So that's all been rebuilt. And now, and it's great. You don't even have to have the machine. Look, we'll turn it backwards. Okay, it doesn't like that too much. Hang on, let's turn it forward. But it works so much better. Look, I'm pointing this towards you. And it works really well. So the problem was just that, I mean, it was obviously barely working with the connection. That was its problem. Now it works really well. It's not Victorian era direct line of sight stuff. It does like, you know, I mean, I'm going to hold this right out here. It will happily turn the machine on and off a treat, which is really, really good. So we save that. If you have an Electrolux Excellio, I would advise you to have a look at the circuit board in the handle. It's only these 4 screws, and then the shell separates and it just slots in there. Because if it's rotting your PCB away, you're not going to know, and the chances of finding a new circuit board for one of these in 2024 is quite slim. But, oh, that's minimum power. These have such good airflow. Max. And then if we put it on boost, it should run on boost for a couple of seconds before turning itself back down to the normal setting. Which it does really, really well. Little bit of wind down on the motor, but you know, that's not too bad. The motor housing is actually very similar to my Lux 1R, the more European model. They use the same, you know, put the motor in a housing and then you drop the PCB into some contacts that run up. And yeah, it's pretty much identical in that respect. So well done Electrolux there. They obviously were really sharing their stuff, because this would probably be a European machine just sold in the UK. Did you ever see these with a different brand than Electrolux on them? Do let me know down below. So the machine works and the hose works. Let's have a quick look at the floor head and then see how well it vacuums the floor. The last thing to look at really is these, which are probably the least exciting part of the whole machine. The extendable one, I just extended it and washed the whole thing, and that is that. It came up okay. It's again been used. This sadly is like a painted aluminum, rather like Pneumatic do with their, or did, I don't think they do anymore, with their very lightweight ones. So, you know, not a lot one can do about that. Lucky this bit's okay. And once this is in the floor head, you can't tell. Absolutely fine. Talking of the floor head, it came up okay. It's scratched, it's used, it's an old floor head. But the base plate isn't physically worn down, which is all you can really ask for. The brushes come up and down nicely, and I got all the hair out of that. And yeah, the whole thing works really well indeed, and I'm hoping it's going to work okay now it's got enough airflow for the machine to keep the head on the floor, because that's the only thing I'm not a fan of with this style head, the fact that the back comes up and down. And I think you've got to bend down to turn the machine on. There we go, look, it's on low. Can you even hear that? Oh, let's put that there. Can you hear that? No, let's put it up a bit. Ooh. Oh yes. But yeah, look, you can see as I come forwards and back. But the actual head is staying on the floor. Let's put it on boost. Can you hear that? It does have a conical hose as well. Way before that became a thing that they did for the EU motors. There you go. It's come out boost now. Because boost only lasts for 30 odd seconds. Oh yeah, this is really nice indeed. And then if we come this way just a smidge, there we go, look. We can put it into half floor mode. We can wash the floor, look at that. Oh yes, very nice indeed. The dirt under here. Oh yes, look at that. Always lift it up. Oh, sorry. And then when we want to pause our cleaning, you can simply drop the wand into, well, the floor head into the machine, and again the part is identical. There is a little plastic bracket that pushes on a micro switch on the PCB. There you go there. And again, that's exactly the same micro switch, I think even to the moulding that is used on the Lux 1R. So yeah, this machine is certainly taking a lot of inspiration from its European brethren. And with that, I can call this little pair of jobs, because obviously this is the Alpina that came out of the pair, done. 2 90s vacuum cleaners, one sadly a lot premium than the other. Obviously Hoover were going through a massive lobotomy of their company at this point. They were dead pretty much. They were a twitching corpse. Electrolux still going strong, although sadly they've exited the floor care market pretty much completely now, or it's all branded under different things. And you can tell with things like, you know, the bracket that only sits on this wand like so, that I explained in the after video of the Alpina, you know, the creaky plastics, the fact that the trim doesn't seem to sit properly at all. There's a big body gap there compared to everything clipping down really nicely on here. And of course, my payment for doing these machines is my lovely Cibo Felix Classic, which, well, hang on, let's make a bit of space, which is also done. I did that before I finished the Electrolux, when I finished its PCB. Yeah, thanks to Mr. Manchester Vax / Cibo shop, sending through a lovely brand new filter, a lovely not worn neck, and a lovely brand new cable grommet exit thing. This is also done, although it's a lot more modern at 2005 than these two, which will be mid to late 90s. And yeah, my payment is all refurbished. These 2 machines can go home, and Mr. James can possibly use them once and put them back into storage, as he often does. Felix, stop making stuff. Look, he's got his Pringles tube. Go on then, you get it. You get it, look, you get your Pringles tube. Go on then. Go on then. No, he's shy now, look. Yeah, he rolls it around on the floor. So yeah, there we go. Put that back out of the way. Oh, off he goes. So yeah, the trio is done. Thank you very much, Mr. James, for my first Felix, although at the time of filming this, and you've probably seen some already, we've got quite busy with them recently. Had my second Excellio and my first Alpina. So yeah, a nice trio of new things for us to look at. Which is your favourite out of this lineup? Do let me know. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have owned a Felix. If any of you ever owned one of these cylinders, do let me know. God, look, you're covering up the lovely logo. There we go. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed, and well, my Cibo Felix, because these 2 will go home. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.